Free Music Theory, lesson number 3. Oh yeah. Okay, so as you can see with the board behind me, I've written all this out. We are going to learn note values today, and we're also going to learn stem direction too. Now, probably at this stage of the game, you're wondering, oh, there's so many pieces of the puzzle and I still don't understand anything, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, I actually have made it that way that you're not actually supposed to understand how to put all these pieces together. I basically opened a puzzle box and dumped all these pieces out, and you guys are like, huh, where do these go? I don't see how they can match up. But after probably about 5 or 6, maybe 7 lessons, that'll start to become a lot more clear because it's going to build on each other. Okay, so first up, note values. So we have different notes. Now, all that I want you to know is the terminology here again. So I want you to know what is, hold on a second, I'm going to move this board back a bit. Okay, so we have a whole note, we have a half note, we have a quarter note, an eighth note, a 16th note, and a 32nd note. Do you notice a pattern in here? If for any of you math geniuses out there, it's doubling. So look, a whole note is basically 1. See, I have this up here. Each note kind of has something called an ID number. So it's a number that's assigned to the note that tells you how many of it would be in, it's kind of like splitting up an orange. So this circle here is a whole note. So it's 1, okay? So there's only one, think of it as like the big chief note. It's, or you know those Russian dolls? So all the other little things fit in that one big thing. So it's the biggest one. So it has an ID number of 1. Then a half, well there's 2 pieces and a half, so it's ID number 2. If you chop something into 4 quarters, right here, well there's 4 quarters in a whole thing. So if you chop an orange into quarters, you're going to get 4 pieces. So it has an ID number of 4. If you chop a pie into 8s, you're going to have 8 pieces, right? So it has an ID number of 8. If you chop 16, I don't know what you chop into 16ths. But as you're going down the list, it's doubling every time. So it goes from 8 to 16 to 32. Okay? You could do this. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 plus 32 is 64. 64 plus 64 is 128. Okay? That is usually the longest note, but we're going farther ahead than we need to really. All you even really need to know up to is about 8th notes, and you're already at like a grade 1 level of understanding. So you're doing quite well. Anyway, so this is the whole spectrum here. Okay? Now, there's a symbol that goes with these, and that's what you're going to be using on the sheet music. These symbols, and they're extremely easy to follow along with. So there's notes and there's rests. Notes are things where you're going to play something, and rests are silent, so you don't have to play anything, you just rest. We're not going to cover rest today, we're only covering notes. So, notes. The first note, the whole note, is literally a circle. It's kind of like an oval-shaped circle. It's kind of it's squished at the top and a little bit wider on the bottom a little bit, but not that much. You can just draw a circle and you're good. So there's a whole note. A whole note is a circle. A half note is a circle with a stick. There's a stick attached to it. Now, we call the stick in music a stem, okay? Now, a stem, when it goes up, it's always going to be on the right side, and when it goes down, it's always going to be on the left side, okay? So this is important. So up on the right side, down on the left side. A lot of people get this mixed up. Don't be one of them. Okay? Now, quarter note. It's a circle with a stick that's filled in. So it's a circle, and then you add a stick, and now fill that circle that you had in, fill it in, so it's solid. Okay, so it's all black like that. And it can go up, the stem can go up or down, just like all these. So all the stems are going up or down. And it's always up on the right side, down on the left side. Okay, so that's a quarter note. An eighth note is a circle with a stick that's filled in with a tail. Okay, that's actually what we call that. This is a stem, and then the little thing on the end is a tail, or sometimes it's also called a flag. Okay, so the flag goes that way, Now here's where it gets tricky. The flag is always on the right side, but the stem changes sides. I know. It's kind of weird, but anyway, so bear with me. So you move the stick on the other side, so the stem's going down on the left side now, but the flag still stays on the right side, okay? So notice that. Alright, now, also I have or because when you have multiple of these notes, the flag will actually connect the notes together. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4, you'll connect them with a line connecting up like that, and those are 2 eighth notes right there. If I saw one of these without this here, then I'd know that's 2 quarter notes, because quarter notes are filled in but they don't have a flag. You'll get this more and more as you do it, so don't worry about it. It's just practice, and this is just really jumping in. Okay, all I want you to do is memorize the terms and what they look like. So you have maybe 2 or 3 days of homework on this. Okay. 16th note, it's the exact same as the 8th note, except you add another flag. So it's a circle with a stick that's filled in with a flag and another flag. And same idea, flags are on the right side, but the stick changes. It goes on the left side when it's going down. And with this, all you've done is see, you've just added another line, because there's 2 flags now. And for a 32nd note, there's 3 flags, up or down, and then 3. And that is it. So I want you to memorize this chart. You can pause the video, rewind it, and I want you to write it out and go over it over and over and over again, okay? When you do that, let's move on to the next thing, which is stem direction. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do in this lesson is stem direction. So I've shown you that some of them go up and some go down, but I didn't tell you why they go down or when you would put them up or down. So basically, I've drawn a really rough staff here. So this is a treble clef with, I didn't even do a double byline or anything, but see how I've really darkened this middle line? I did that so I could draw your attention to it. Now, I have different notes all the way placed up and down, and this is what you would look like. So there's space notes or there's line notes. So you can put them on the middle of the line or in the middle of the space. Now, what determines if the stem goes up or down is basically where they are in relation to the middle line. Now, if my note is down here, my stem is going to point up because the middle line is above it. So the stem always points in the direction of the middle line. So if you had a note right here below, one note below, it would still point up. If it was one note above, the stem would point down because it wants to point towards the middle line. So these ones, the stems are going down. And notice how the stem is on the left side, and on here it's on the right side. Now, what happens if it's in the middle of the line, or it's on the middle line? Oh no, the dreaded middle line. So basically, what are you going to do? Well, it can go up or down. So you can make it go up or go down, however you want. Usually what you might do is, if you see that most of the notes before it were going up, you might want to just put it up. Most of the notes are going down, you can put it down, just to make it look prettier so there's more uniformness to it. Other than that, that's basically the rule. Now the only other kind of more advanced rule to that is that, say you have a group of notes and you have one note that's one note below the line, and you have another note that's way above the line, and they're connected by, say you have like a note here, and you have a note here, way up here, and then you have them joined with like their 2/8 notes. Why isn't that note? There we go. So say, this is really rough by the way, I didn't even think of doing this before, but say it's like this. Oops, I actually did this wrong. Okay, so you could think of doing it that way, and the stem would point up. But you see how this one's really close to it? It's actually the one that's farther away that's going to pull it. So technically the right way to do this would be to have this here, this up here. Now see how farther away this one is? So it's going to go down, and it's going to force this one to go down too. So you're going to have something like this. Okay? So generally though, you won't really have things too much like that. But if you have a group of notes, the one that's farther away is going to pull it. And also, say you have a group of 3 notes, like 1, 2, 3. Well, if there's 2 ones that are above and 1 that's below, think of it like a tug of war. Oh, I did it wrong again. Keep wanting to do it sideways. The one on top, because there's two on top, it's going to beat out the one on the bottom. Okay? So basically, if there's more on the top and less on the bottom, the top's going to win. If there's more on the bottom and less on the top, the bottom's going to win. This only applies to groups of notes, like groups of 16th notes or 32nd notes or 8th notes, but not to single notes. So that's it. Okay. Homework. No. Okay guys, so your homework for this week is I would like you to take all the notes that you've learned and practice drawing 20 or 30 different notes on staff. And I want you to draw them on the staff and maybe do ground staff. And I'd like you to try to keep the stem direction in the right way. Or you could just try a treble clef, do treble clef or bass clef by itself, and draw a note and put the stem in the right direction, and then name what note you've just drawn. And practice drawing a nice circle, fill it in, and then draw your stem on the right side. Or left side, whichever way it's supposed to go. Okay? Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.